Record. Okay, this is our November 1st team call. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you guys about building trust and sharing your story. I think this is so vital and important because I don't know how many of you guys have looked at your newsfeed lately, and if you have any friends that are in any other network marketing businesses, like my newsfeed can get out of control with salesy posts and just like all these corporate images. And I don't know how you guys do it, but I just kind of block them. I'm like, oh, don't want to see your posts anymore. And that's obviously not what we want. And so I wanted to talk to all of you guys about that, and then also how to share your story, because my story is going to be different than Beth's, and Beth's is going to be different than Sarah's, and Sarah's going to be different than Stephanie's. Like, everybody has a different story, and that's okay. That's one thing that I hear a lot from people is like, well, I don't really have a story, or I don't really have a transformation, or I don't have this or that. No matter who you are, if you've been on this earth for any length of time, you have a story. You just have to find what it is to be able to share it. So let's talk about your journey, and your story are your own. A lot of times we follow all these awesome people on Facebook, you know, some of the top coaches or even inspiring coaches that are on our own team. We'll follow them and we'll look at them and we're like, oh, that's what they're doing. Yeah, I should be posting about that. And then you start posting those kinds of things, and it's kind of like, it doesn't come across as being real. When your friends are looking at it, they're like, okay, why is she talking about this all of a sudden? It doesn't come across as being honest and truthful. Like, your journey and your story is your own. We talked a little bit last time about comparison. And so I wanted to talk about how people don't relate to perfect people. I started listening to Daring Greatly. Everybody's been talking about this book by Brene Brown. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm downloading it. It's only 1 credit on Audible, guys. So I started listening to it on my crazy, ridiculous, long journey this weekend. And it was like, I'm only, I don't know, maybe a chapter or 2 in. And it was really enlightening because she talked about how, I put a quote on my Facebook the other day, but it was something like, let me see if I can find it because it was so good. Perfectionism doesn't exist in our human experience. People don't, like, a lot of times as business owners, we think that we need to have things all together. Our nutrition needs to be on point as coaches. Our physical journey should be on point. We should only be making gains and never any losses. Like, we need to be the examples. You know, for Halloween candy, we didn't touch a piece of it because, you know, we're coaches, and how could we ever put that chocolatey goodness in our mouth? And so a lot of times we start thinking that way, or at least that we need to portray that. A lot of time, I like to think of Facebook as like a highlight reel. If you're thinking about reality TV show, I'm a big reality TV junkie. It's kind of embarrassing to admit, but it's totally true. And so if I am looking at my own life and I'm here 24/7, it's like Big Brother. You could go on and watch the live feed of my life. It really wouldn't be all that entertaining. There'd be a lot of downs. There'd be a lot of me doing things that maybe aren't necessarily the best in the world, like yelling at my children. And I would probably look at it and be really disheartened if I was looking at that versus like a preview for this brand new show with some mom that has everything all together, and she's like stunningly beautiful every day of her life. She wakes up and she's got like these gorgeous curls and hair put together and makeup on, which, guys, I went to church today, still don't have any makeup on, just saying. And so that's just not me. Like, but if I were to compare myself to that ideal person, then I'm sorry, son. If I were to compare myself to that ideal person, I obviously would end up being short. I'd come up short, and I'd be really disappointed and heartbroken about it. However, Bubs, go look at your thing, okay? Go on, Bubs. I love you. So I would be like completely heartbroken by it. However, Facebook can be that way. Like, a lot of times we're looking at somebody's posts, and if you're looking at Lindsay Matway's bad example because she's super honest and everything. But if you're looking at, somebody's post that's only posting the good stuff, they're only posting when they go on vacation or all the amazing things their family does together, or, I don't know, the amazing meals they're eating out at restaurants and stuff like that. And then you start like looking at your life and I'm like, I'm having chili again tonight. Or, I haven't changed in 3 days. Don't judge me, guys. I work from home. Or, whatever the situation is, if you're comparing yourself to that, then you're always going to come up short and you're always going to have that comparison issue. And so your journey is your own. The way you live your life is your own, and you have to accept yourself for who you are.
With this trains.
With what?
With the trains.
Trains? Where are you going to get them from? No, I'm not getting up right now. Go play. There's plenty of things out. I love you. If not, you can go to bed.
Okay.
You can go over there and play.
Play train.
Oh, have mercy. Excuse me for just a moment, guys. Come here. Why don't you play your pig game? Okay? Quietly, though, okay? Sorry. See, if I was judging myself against like somebody who always has their team calls together, I would not measure up right now. But your story and your journey is your own. It's exactly who you are, and that's okay. Like, God created you in his image to be exactly how you are right now, and you are ever bettering yourself and striving to be more Christ-like, to be better and stronger and more fit, and working towards bettering your financial life for your family. And so sharing your journey and where you're at right now is totally relational. When Becca talks about how she did an unprogress pic, and that was like one of her best commented, like shared Facebook posts, I've had some similar things. I think I don't know, it may have been in November, I posted an unprogress pic. In other words, I had gained a few pounds and my jeans were getting a little bit tight again, and I posted about it, and I was like, listen, guys, like, the holidays have gotten me. I'm getting back on top of it, and in December, I am going to lose this weight, and I'm going to get back on track. I had so many people comment on it and say, thank you so much for sharing this. Like, it's huge when I hear that, you're going through the same struggles I'm going through. Like, they understand that relationally better than they can somebody who portrays that they're perfect or exactly the way it is. Yeah, Mom bought us live in color. So perfectionism doesn't exist in our human experience. You were born to be real, not to be perfect. And so we just need to share that, like, share every aspect of our life. And when I say that, I don't mean that you need to necessarily, you shouldn't feel bad to share your journey for what it is. People will relate to you no matter, that will relate to you, that may not relate to you unless you share your highs and your lows. If you're sharing just your highs all the time, then they're going to see like, oh, she does that, but I could never do that. I've had people, when I have been sharing just too many progresses, I've had people say, I don't like working out all the time like you do. To that, I laugh before I respond because I hate working out. I am just like everybody else. I would much rather sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing. Being 100% real, like, I just would. But I know that this is what, one, drives my business forward, and two, keeps me healthy. Like, it keeps my hormones in balance, and it gets me to my end goal, which is like being able to get pregnant naturally and living without medication every day of my life. And so that's what drives me to get up off the couch for 20 to 30 minutes. And there are days where I choose the 15-minute program because I'm like, heck no, I don't want to work out. And that's me. And I have to tell them that, like, I'm sorry that you think that I like to work out. I really don't. I'm posting it for accountability. And then they're like, oh, good, I thought you were one of those crazy people. I'm like, no, that's not me. So live your truth honestly and out loud. Share all aspects of your life. I thought about that this last week that I have been posting like a lot more of the health side of my life than I have about like everything else. Guys, I am a missionary. I am a pastor's wife. I am a mom. I have so much more going on to my life than Beachbody coaching. And so it's easy to think, like, get wrapped up in like, okay, I got to post about like nutrition today, and I got to post about this, and I got to post about that. Like, share about all aspects of your life, because if you're only about fitness, you're only going to attract people that are only about fitness, that are like, that's their main thing. Stephanie, if you're posting about running, you're going to be like gaining followers that are runners. Like, that's what they do, you know? If you're only posting about crocheting, I'm using this like because they're my hobbies, right? Then I'm only going to attract those kind of people. And guys, they're like, most of them are in their 60s. They're not into fitness. So, but that's the thing, like, share about all aspects of your life, and then share it openly and honestly, but in a positive way. And the reason why I say that is because, it's easy, be positive and uplifting though. There's already so much negativity in this world, and people want something that's different than themselves. So, oh gosh, there's so much that I wanted to say about this. Hold on. Share your thoughts and honest opinions. So you can share whatever thoughts and opinions you have, but crochet box, thank you. But share them in a positive way. Like, it was interesting. I was listening to the pastor speak today in Jay, Oklahoma, and he was talking specifically about social media and about how a lot of times we see somebody write something that has a contrary opinion to what we have to say, and like, we'll jump on there and comment really fast without even thinking about like the consequences or the way that other person may read it. And just because we think they're wrong, we feel like we have to tell them. But I'm like total opposite. Josh is kind of like that. My husband, like, if he sees somebody writing about, I don't know, it could be anything, like anything Christian related, and he has a contrary opinion, or if he feels like they're saying something that's not biblical, he feels like it's a necessity to correct them and tell them, like, no, this is how it should be. This is actually what the Bible says, because he has a theology master's degree. And so he's like, I studied this, I know, and you're wrong. Whereas me, like, it's not worth a confrontation. I'm not going to confront somebody on Facebook. Why? It's not going to change their opinion. It's only going to make them mad at me. And so everybody's got an opinion, and they're entitled to it. I am entitled to be wrong just as right as everybody else can be. Like, we all have the entitlement to share our opinions. So I don't mean it in that way. Like, don't share things that you know are going to be polarizing unless you think it's polarizing for a good reason. But like, just to like go out and start bashing Obama because it's, I don't know, a fun thing to do. I don't think that that's necessarily something that's going to bring honor and respect to what you're trying to put out there to the person that you are and who you are in Christ. And so because of that, I would say share your opinions about things that matter to you, but in a nice way. This is going to, and think about it with your niche market. Your niche market are those that are exactly like you. You can give them an avatar, like a name and an identity. You can make this character up in your head and pretend like you're posting to them. Usually your best friends have very similar thought processes to you, because like attracts like. So most of your best friends will probably, you may differ in a few areas, but the majority of your foundational beliefs are probably pretty similar. And so post like you're talking to them, and you're going to attract people just like you, and you're going to attract the people that you work best with. So now back to the positivity. You know, like, everybody wants somebody that's positive. I remember before Beachbody, it used to drive me crazy, those people that would post quotes, because I'm like, I don't have time to read your quotes, like, scroll, you know? But since being at Beachbody, like I read them because the people that are posting them usually aren't just posting the quote and that's it. Like they have a thought process behind it. And they're people that I care about and people that I want to know their thought process. Like I respect them. And if they had a revelation, maybe it could be a revelation in my life. Does that make sense? So when you're putting out positivity and putting out like good value into people's lives, like if you found a product that rocks and you love it, share about it because people like you are going to want to know about it and you're adding value to their life. This doesn't just have to be about quotes. It's like just giving back to people without expecting other things in return. Like just giving out of yourself, you know, like, hey guys, I found this awesome restaurant. It's totally clean eats and it's a decent price. You should go there the next time you're out and you need a clean meal. Like little things like that, the little treasures that you find that are helpful for you, like share with your audience and share them freely. That's going to help build trust because they're going to be like, oh, this is a girl who, one, is encouraging. Like I like to listen to her because she's not just dogging on everything. I think we all know an Eeyore in our life that's like no matter what you say, they have something negative to say about it, or you can never bring them up. Like they come to you because they're down in the dumps and this thing happened and that thing happened and no matter what, they just can't get ahead in life and da, da, da. And like you can try to bring them up, but no matter what you do or what you say, they don't want to come up. Like they don't, it's got to be a choice on their behalf to like change that around. Well, like we don't want to be those people on Facebook either because nobody wants to like read messages from somebody who's like always complaining about life. Like if you're complaining about life, like why would I look to you for something that when I'm having my own problems? Like I have my own problems. I don't need to look and read about yours. And so putting that out there is huge. And then something that I'm going to start doing this week, and I suggest maybe you guys do as well, because I've noticed a big change in my life over the last year when not only did I start reading personal development every day, but, you know, I've been surrounded by the Beachbody community for a long time, which you guys know now how positive and uplifting and giving everybody is. Like everybody, you can go in and say, hey, I need a resource for this. And like people are just going to give you their stuff. Like things that they put time and effort into, like go into the corporate world and see if that flies. Usually it's dog eat dog and people are just trying to look out for their own backs and their own necks. And so being around that has been a huge shift for me. And so I've slowly been doing this over the last year or so, but I'm going to make it a conscious effort. After I'm done with my 3 vital behaviors and my power hour every day, I'm going to go through my newsfeed because this is what I usually do. Because after I'm done with my power hour, then I'll let myself go through my newsfeed. If I go before, forget it. I'll be on there forever. I'm going to start going through my newsfeed, and I'll just like and comment things as I'm going through my newsfeed. And then if I don't like it, like I said, I'm not going to like cause a lot of drama with people. But Becca said something the other day, and I was like, shoot, that's true. Social media is opt-in. Like if people don't like what you're putting out there, they don't have to follow you. And we're not people pleasers. Like it doesn't matter whether people follow us or not. Just trying to add value to people's lives and help them be and feel better is not being a people pleaser. I tell people all the time, you know, it takes hard work. You have to take the first step. Like I give them honest truth bombs, but wrapped in love and grace. And so if you want to, Bubs. No, I'm not getting another one out. Done. Shh. And so, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm going to start going through my newsfeed, and as I see stuff that I don't like I've been doing this for a long time with people who just start cursing all the time. It's a different standard for everyone, but for me personally, I just don't need to see the F-bomb 5 times in your status. I don't. Like, that doesn't add any value to my life. I don't really care about it or want to read it. And usually by the first one, I'm like, oh, scroll, don't need to keep reading this. And so I've started like slowly, it's not blocking. What is it when you can click on their I'm going to go look. You can click on on the little arrow up at the top and you can say
Unfollow.
Unfollow. Yeah. Or yeah, unfollow. That means you guys are still friends, but their junk's not going to come up in your newsfeed anymore. So you don't have to see it, but they can still see yours. Like you guys can like and comment on things that way, but it's opt-in. Like it's not going to pop up in your newsfeed. So if there's somebody who's like always an Eeyore or posting junk that you don't care about, or for me recently, it's also been about like It Works wraps because I have a soapbox about them. And all I want to do is like, be like, it doesn't work. And so to keep myself from doing that, I just click unfollow and I don't have to see their stuff. And one day if they come around and see the light, then they can try our stuff and have a complete lifestyle change. But if not, it's totally okay. It's opt-in. I don't have to see their stuff. They don't have to see mine. It reminds me of the whole it's funny, I told Josh that this whole thing kind of reminds me of Christianity. Like, if we're bickering with each other and yelling and judging and all of that, like, from an outside perspective, like, why would you want to be a part of that? You know, if there was, like, a club that was always, like, angry and fighting and wrestling with each other, like, why would they want to be a part of that? Exactly. Or Plexus. Oh, isn't that the Thrive? And Thrive. Yes. Oh, my gosh. So many. I just unfollowed them all. Anyway, so why would you want to be a part of that? Like that just disfigures the body of Christ. And so it's funny, we talked about that and I was like, this is the same thing. Like if we're just like everybody else, if we're just putting corporate images up there, if we're just trying to sell our crap and peddle, I don't know, programs, then it's not a cute look. Like nobody's going to want to follow us. We're exactly like everyone else. But guys, we're not. We're so not. This company is so much more. I'm going to go into that in just a second, but it reminded me of this whole negativity versus positive post. Like you can post about things that are real going on in your life, but like let's take what you've learned from them. A lot of times I don't post about things as I'm necessarily going through them. I'll post about them a day or so later and say, you know, listen, like my mood has not been the best. And so I had to unplug and I had to, you know, get into the word and hear what God really has to say about me so that I could turn my day around. Or I had to start thinking about all the blessings in my life so that I could turn my day around and not keep focusing on this one situation. Because when I focus, I spiral. You know, just talk about it so people know, like, I'm a real person. I go through real struggles. But I don't stay there. Like I move out of it. And so when it comes to your news feed, the whole garbage in, garbage out, I think has a play in it. And so if you are going through your news feed and you're in a pretty darn good mood and then you start seeing all this junk, you're like, ooh, you know, like that's not great. Or I don't really need to see this. Or for me, for a while, I was listening to the news. I stopped watching the news. I haven't watched the news, guys, in like over a year. If something big happens, I will find out about it. There's other people that will watch the news for me, and I don't have to waste my time. I know this sounds like so idiotic, but it's true. Like it's such a waste of time to watch the daily news because most of what it is just the sad things going on in life, like people that were murdered and I don't know, robberies and all the horrible things going on in the world. And all that's doing is setting us up for a sad day or like gloom and doom theories. And the reality of the matter is if it's something really important, you're going to hear about it on Facebook. You're going to hear about it on in church or wherever you go, like you're gonna hear about it and then you can Google it and find out, and then you're not wasting near as much time. Yeah, sorry, multitasking. Mom life. You're not wasting near as much time watching and like getting all that negativity on you. I remember I'd watch it and I'm like, I left and I'm like, gosh, why do we live here? People just die all the time. Like it was so negative and just sickening. And so
do you want any food?
buddy, why don't you go up and eat, okay? It was just so gloom and doom. And so I feel like the whole garbage in, garbage out, after I left that, I just felt like, oh, everything sucks. My life sucks. Why am I here? Somebody's probably just going to shoot me in a gas station. Like, it was so miserable. So like, you can do that with a lot of areas of your life. Facebook, just sad to say it, but friendships, like if you have friends in your life that are only gloom and doom and they can never come out of it, maybe it's time to start just distancing them a little bit, because they're not adding anything back into your life. And the truth is, friendships are give and take. All relationships should be give and take. Like, you guys are constantly in a flow, living like this together, and not like one leeching off of the other one. That is called a symbiotic relationship, where one is just constantly, well, symbiotic, I guess, is what we should be, right? Living together in harmony. But the other one is a parasite, where they're just leeching off of you. You're not getting anything really from the relationship. You may have this loyalty in your heart to them, but are you really getting anything? Anyway, if the answer is no, then maybe it's time to start distancing yourself from them. Doesn't mean that you have to cut them out of your life completely. Just kind of distance a little bit. And slowly, they'll find somebody else that they can leech onto, and then you'll be free. And you really won't be all that sad, I promise you. Okay, so as a company, we've talked about all these other companies, and I hate bashing companies. Like, that is not what I'm here to do. What I'm here to do is talk about how we're different. Beachbody, I believe, is different in a lot of different ways than most. Like, even Carl likes to say, we're not a multimedia or multi-level marketing company. We're a multi-level helping company, because like, they could have, if they wanted to just be about the dollar, they could have kept it with just infomercials. Guys, when people buy from an infomercial, they get all the money, they get all the commissions, all of that stuff. And they did really, really well with infomercials. Beachbody has like the top 3 infomercials in the world, between 21 Day Fix, Body Beast, and something else, maybe Pio. I'm not sure. Anyway, they have like the top infomercials. They're killing it in infomercials. So if they just wanted to be about the money, that's what they would do. I mean, they're a business. Obviously, they have to stay afloat. However, they created Team Beachbody, which is our side, the coach side, specifically because they saw the value of accountability and people being able to create their own business and their own freedom using the Beachbody products. So do you guys believe that we're different than, say, It Works, which is also another multi-level marketing company, an MLM? Do you guys believe it? Yes? Yes? Okay. Do you believe in the products? Do they work? Yes? Okay. Now, you don't have to tell me, but if you want to put in the chat, what made you guys make the leap? What made you decide to join? Think about it for a second. No, what made you decide to join the products? Like starting to work out, like what made you buy into Beachbody over Plexus or over the gym or over Weight Watchers or any of those? Like, what made you decide to jump in with Beachbody? I feel like people are typing. I see typing happening. I'm going to wait a second because I really want to see these. And then I'll tell you mine. Stacy says, I wanted a lifestyle change, not just another diet. I also needed accountability without going to the gym. Sarah says, I saw it worked, and it was a lifestyle change, not a diet. Erica said, nothing else has worked for me and my success. Lisa. Beth said, I was tired of struggling with IBS, and after 19 years had had enough. And I saw that Rebecca had amazing results, and so I did a 7-day Shakeology challenge and was hooked. What this is if you've seen in most of these, it's a life change. Like it's all three things in one. It's the nutrition. If you want just a nutrition aspect, you can, Stephanie says, because I saw a personal change, a friend, me, changed. And I also got approval from the oncologist, which was huge. Also true. Yep. She's got a lot of limitations and Shakeology met all of them, which is huge. So that's the thing. Like Josh and I were talking about it on the way home today about like, you know, if you just want to work out and you're a big workout buff, like sure, we can meet your needs like with Beachbody On Demand. But you could also just go to the gym, or you could just get a trainer, or you could just get Daily Burn. Like you could get one of multiple options. If you just want to focus only on nutrition and nothing else, which FYI, these people that do this, 9 times out of 10, they end up gaining the weight in the next 2 to 3 years. I think the statistic is not just gaining, but then also going at least 5 to 10 pounds more than what they were at when they first started. So if you want to do that, you have Weight Watchers, you have Jenny Craig, you have Plexus, I think, does just nutrition. You have, well, that's not even true. It Works Wraps, or just wraps. I don't know. Like you have multiple options if you just want to get skinny and you don't want to do any hard work. Nutrisystem, yeah, that's another one. Like there are so many options if you just want to do one portion of it. However, having the nutrition, having the workouts, having somebody like real life people, not just infomercial people with like corporate shot, like professional images, like real life people, having them and seeing like their personal friends do something and then maintaining it like it's a lifestyle, that's huge. And then they get the accountability when they get to join your challenge group. Like what other system has that? Weight Watchers tried it. They have meetings that you can go to, and now they have something online that's supposed to be something similar, but it's failing. It's not doing as well as we are. And so if other companies are trying to match what you're doing something right. Like it's funny, this has nothing to do with nothing, but when we go to the mall and we walk by, what's it called? The Microsoft store or whatever it's called. It just kind of makes me laugh because now when I look in there, it looks almost exactly like the Apple store. You know, when you first walked into an Apple store for the very first time, you looked around and you're like, wow, this is totally different. I've never seen anything like this. You know, everything's clear and like really nice and pretty and put together. And then now all of a sudden Microsoft has their own stores and they've got a tablet named the Surface, and like they're starting to do the same thing with like, you know, the clear front and just using one word instead of like these full long descriptive paragraphs. It's funny, like if one person's starting to see success, they start to follow. Everybody's following. And if they're following you, you're doing something right. However, you're not going to have success if you're following someone else. That goes back to our whole, like, you can't do your stories your own. You can't do me. You can't do Stephanie. You can't do Becca. You have to do you. You do you. Okay, so what sets us apart from Weight Watchers, the gym, Daily Burn, Jenny Craig, It Works, Plexus, Thrive, all of those things? I'm going to give you the answer. It's because we facilitate life change. We care about people. We're about people. We're a people business. We care about adding value. We care about sharing our story so others can relate, not just so that we can get monetary gain, but so people can experience this freedom. It's another thing that I talked to Josh about on the way home. I'm like, it's so funny because, you know, this parallels at least my story with Christianity as well, is that like, there's this song that like, I want to shout it from the mountaintops, my guys, something. I don't remember. It was an old camp song. I'd have to look it up. But it's so true. Like when you find something that's good, when you find something that will make people's life better, when, Stephanie was talking to me today about her dad and how she's had some hard conversations with him lately. And the fact of the matter is like when you have something that you know works, that you know is going to change their life for the better. You want that for them. You want to share it with them. You want to like say, hey, look, I'm doing it. You can do it too. Let's go together like hand in hand. We can do this. But it's hard because they have to want it themselves. How do we get them to want it themselves? That's the trick. That's the work. That's the hard part of coaching. And the way we do that is from sharing our story. So specifically our team, I know we talked about Beachbody. Beachbody as a whole, I believe that they facilitate life change instead of just like, here's a quick fix. But our team, my vision for our team is that our team is one that is about whole body transformation, not just life change physically, but I want life change emotionally. I want life change spiritually. I want life change all together as the whole family, like the whole unit, the whole body, mind, soul, spirit, all of it. I want it completely changed. Clearly, this isn't going to happen in one challenge group. However, if people are in challenge groups with you or you're checking in with them month after month after month, I had a challenger today that just, for her very first challenge, just sent me her pictures and she goes, oh, I have so much work to do. I'm so out of shape. And I stopped right that moment. And this is like the first thing that I've made her do that she's like, wait, what? She felt really uncomfortable, but I was like, I want you to stop right now. I'm like, you need to say 3 positive things about your body. Like you just tore it down in your own mind about, you know, it being out of shape. That's fine. Like it's out of shape. That's a fact. Now I want you to say 3 positive things. And she was like, LOL, really? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, and you want me to tell you? And I'm like, yes, I do. Because it's about changing the mindset. It's about changing more than just their physical appearance. Because if there's emotional baggage going on there at the same time, they're only going to go back to food. If that's what they know, if that's their comfort, that's what they're going to go back to. It's an addictive substance. I think you have a puppy coming in, Stephanie. And so I believe, at least for me, our whole team or our whole body change, and a whole body, mind, spirit, all of it changing as one. Sorry, I need to stop looking at the video. We're about helping others to find the same truth and the same freedom that we found. How do we do that? We do that by sharing our story. Okay, so real life nuts and bolts. If you have a piece of paper, if you could grab it, that and a pen. You could do this on the computer, but it might be a little bit more difficult. And I'm about to make you do this. Yeah, real quick. Okay, so this is old-fashioned, like elementary school. Go way back, guys. Do you guys remember spider web brainstorming? Does anybody have any clue what I'm talking about? Like where you brainstorm, you put the topic, whatever it is, in the center, and then you like spider web off. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. Stacy, try not to die. Ready? Okay, so in the very center, let me see if I can get this right. I want you to put your name. You see it? Put your name in the center. And then spidering off of that, I want you to put your different roles, like the foundation of who you are. So it's going to be different for all of you. I'm going to share my example. My example says mom. Clearly, you guys saw that tonight. Wife, Christian, and daughter. To me, these represent who I am now, who I've been in the past by daughter, and I'm still a daughter. I mean, always will be, and who I am in the future, or will be. I'm planning on being. These can be different for you guys, like obviously. And then off of a daughter, let's see if you guys can. I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to like take a picture and put it in our team page. It's really not cute, guys. I did this. The handwriting's terrible. I did this while driving in the car, so try not to judge. Off of daughter, I went into my past. So I put that I had a single mom. Like I grew up just me and my mom. That I had an alcoholic father, and that I was an only child. So off of only child, I spidered out some more and wrote half siblings because I did have siblings. I just didn't grow up with them. Like, I've only met them, I don't know, a handful of times in my life. And then I put prostitute in jail because that's where they're at. And after, off of alcoholic father, I put abusive, jail, and molester, because he went to jail because he molested my half sister, and he was abusive to my mom, which is why they divorced. Off of single mom, I wrote divorced as a baby when I was a baby. Obviously not her. That would be weird. Strong woman, because she is. I grew up thinking I didn't need a man because my mom did everything. Now looking back, I'm like, okay, that's clearly not right. Like, yes, I can do all things, but I am obviously, like, God created us to be complementary to each other. Anyway, and then family history of divorce, because my mom, everybody in my mom's family's been divorced. Okay, so that's like just that one daughter section, just kind of going back through my history. It's kind of just to brainstorm ideas off of who you are. Obviously, you're not going to have my story because that's a soap opera. But you're going to have a story. Like, were you raised in an awesome family that stayed together, that had game nights every night? Are you going to, I know, right? Are you going to have a story about, like, I don't know, divorce at 12 and how that played a role into your life? Are you going to talk about, like, turbulent teenage years? I don't know what the story is. Whatever your story is, brainstorm it, map it out. And then under Christian, I put grew up in a non-Christian family, and I was saved at 10. Another branch says missions at age 16 out of a small church. I found this church because of Danny. She's on our team. And El Salvador was my first place that I went. And then I wrote used by God anyhow, because I feel like, I don't know, a lot of times when I look back at my story, I'm like, how does God use me? Like, I don't get it. Off of wife, I wrote married, a strong Christian legacy, because that was huge for me. Like, I broke down and cried when my mother-in-law prayed for me all my life. She told me that when we first went out to dinner before we got married. And so that was, like, huge, because going back to my past, I didn't have that legacy. And so I felt like not enough a lot of times. But because I know that there was somebody praying for me my whole life, I don't know. I think that played a role. Okay, and then another branch says pastor's wife, not your average pastor's wife, definitely not my calling. I've learned that through this thing. Nothing wrong with it. We do our best job that we possibly can, but I'm not meant to be a pastor's wife, guys. And then again, God used me anyhow. Like, there's a lot of that. For mom, I wrote mom of 2 boys, scared to raise boys, because again, it was just me and my mom growing up. And then I want more naturally. Hello. And then off of another bubble, it was couldn't conceive, PCOS, because I had PCOS, which I talk about a lot in my story, that I did by a miracle. And then I had a C-section overseas and a VBAC here in the States. And then that I'm a natural mom. I like to cloth diaper. I like to make my homemade baby food. I like to use essential oils and less medicines, stuff like that. Okay, so these are just a few. I obviously could go much, much, much deeper and further and in detail. This is going to help you roadmap your story, because you can't write one big, huge, long post and then expect everybody to know who you are and what you're about. We have to breadcrumb it. So you guys have heard us talk about breadcrumbing a lot, I'm sure. Breadcrumbing is like talking about little pieces of your story at a time. So if you're feeling kind of uninspired, maybe look over your, what is this called? Spider map? Whatever, your brainstorm, and choose a topic. It could be mapping, yeah. I guess you would know that, huh? As a teacher. So look over your mapping. You can do them in lists if you want to, however you want to do it. This is just kind of what worked easiest for me. Look over your mapping and choose a part. And choose whichever one speaks to you at that moment. And then share a little bit about it. But remember, if it's like, you know, abusive molester dad that's now dead, like, you know, yeah, that'd be kind of Eeyore-ish, womp womp. So like, put a positive spin on it, how life's changed, how God's used me anyhow. Like, there's so many things that I can talk about, but just sharing that one little bit, like, how many of you guys knew that I had an alcoholic, abusive, molester father that spent my entire childhood in jail? Anyone? No? No? Okay, see? Yeah, there's not many people that know that about me. Not that I try to keep it secret, but there are going to be people out there that relate to that I didn't know. I didn't know that was in their past. And so there's going to be people that relate to that. And so if I'm brave and I share that openly and honestly, obviously if it involves other people, you need to be they need to be okay with that. My father's dead, so I don't have to worry about that. But if it involves other people, they need to be okay with sharing that. You don't want to air everybody's dirty laundry on your page. But you can start sharing those little things where people are going to start relating to you, and they're like, oh, she's a real person. She has a real past. And yet, look where she's at. That gives me hope, Anyway, that's pretty much the end of our call. I just wanted to go over the mapping because I know it's kind of important. But I'm going to end the recording. And then if we could share maybe a couple things off of our map. One, I think it would help us bond as a team. And then two, we could talk about ideas on how to share that in a relational way on social media. And then I'd love for everybody to post a photo of their map when they're done doing it in the team page. I'd really love to see that. And then we can even talk on the team page too about things like if you're having a hard time coming up with a way to share that, anything like that. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording now.